Welcome to Futures Talks. This episode is a special episode which is coming from Imagine, the Institute of Futurist Studies at Iqra University, and COMSTECH, the Ministerial Standing Committee on Scientific and Technological Cooperation of the OIC. We are happy to present an illustrious scientist belonging to the OIC member state Turkey, and she is joining us today from Ankara. Professor Dr. Ilkay Erdogan Orhan is a leading and distinguished professor and researcher. She is the Dean of Faculty of Pharmacy at Gazi University in Turkey. Her research interests are in pharmacognosy and marine natural products. Professor Dr. Orhan has received many awards for scientific contributions. Some of them are the Success Award for the Most Cited Scientist in 2017, that was given by Foundation of Drug, Pharmacy, Health and Science Technologies. She also received another award in 2017, Silver Medal for the Patent by International Invention Fair, Ministry of Science and Technology, Istanbul, Turkey. She received another award in 2015 for Innovation Award for Women by Turkish Scientific and Technical Research Council and Association of Women and Democracy. She has received another award in 2011, a Young Female Scientist Award in Life Sciences by L'Oreal and Turkish Academy of Sciences. She has a long list of those awards, and we will share those with you on the screen. And I will not delve on it because it will take the whole show just to go over the awards she has received. So welcome to this session, Professor Dr. Orhan, and thank you for joining us from Ankara, Turkey today.
Yeah, thank you very much for the very kind introduction. I'm happy to join you today, and I hope it would be a good talk.
Thank you, Doctor. And we just want to start, there are three segments. The first one, we will talk about your biography, your personal journey, your lived experiences, what was your life growing up like, and then where did you get your education, your family, your relationship. So if you could tell our audience a little bit about that, we will be grateful.
Yeah, sure. It's my pleasure. Actually, I was born in 1972 in Ankara. And then just coming to my university education, I also graduated from this faculty, which is Faculty of Pharmacy of Gazi University. And Gazi University is one of the leading institutes in Turkey. It's a state university, actually public university, which was founded in 1926. So we have a long history of education with our university. And then I started my master's degree here in the same faculty again. I finished it, and then I got scholarship from Japanese government, Monbusho scholarship, and I went to Japan to study on marine natural product chemistry. So I got my second degree for the master program, and I came back to Turkey, did my PhD in pharmacognosy at Gazi University, and then I got fellowship from NATO TÜBİTAK, which is Turkish Scientific and Technological Council. And with this fellowship, I've been to Canada and did some postdoc studies over there. And then I came back again. I became associated professor in 2005, and then became full professor in 2009. And then I was dean of founding, actually dean of Faculty of Pharmacy at Eastern Mediterranean University, which is located in the northern part of Cyprus. So I was dean over there for 3 years, and then I finished my job and came back to Ankara again, and then I was assigned as dean of this faculty of pharmacy at Gazi University, which is my home university actually. So still then, I've been doing my dean's duty besides my research activities. So this is my journey. Coming to my family, I'm married with a daughter, with one daughter. She's 18-year-old and just started the university education in law school. My husband is a medical doctor and I'm pharmacist. So I think that's it.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your childhood. How did you get interested in sciences, especially the natural medicine? How did you come to that?
You know, going back to my childhood, actually, I can say that I was always eager to, for sciences. I used to read a lot of book. But I wasn't that type of child that doing all the time some, primitive experiments or those things. Whatever I did, it was like at, secondary school or high school. When I really started my university education, facing to some pharmacy courses like pharmacognosy and medicinal plants. So I kind of fell in love with this medicinal plant world, plant kingdom, how interesting they are. Not only medicinal plants, but all natural sources are actually interest to us, to our research. But it is of course mostly consists of terrestrial plants. So when I did my second master degree in Japan on marine natural products, so I also discovered that world, which is a very big sources for drug discovery. There are lots of examples of clinically available drugs which were developed from marine organisms as well as plants, of course. So I've been working on natural products isolated from either plants or marine organisms, and also animals. So they are also very useful sources. I think recently I've been also working on a worm species called red Californian worm, which is a topic of one of my PhD students. It is also interesting. So I can just see that this kind of research, of course, every research is very valuable, but this is something undiscovered sources all over the world. So we have a lot of topics in this area to discover. I believe that there are lots of compounds coming from these biological or natural sources, waiting for to be discovered actually. So that's why I like these field. So science anyway, it is an amazing thing, and I'm very happy to be a science person.
And you also have received an award for the in sciences as a young woman. And I was wondering, how do you motivate or encourage young females from OIC countries to take up more studies, to get more involved in science subjects?
Yeah, that's a nice question. But in my personal view, I can say that comparing the Islamic countries with the ones in the West or US, I can say that as the Muslim countries, we have a very good and high number of female scientists. It is, much higher in a number. I mean, it is much higher than in any other European countries. So we should be proud of that. But of course, we still need to develop, considering all Islamic countries, not only for female scientists. Of course, we need to encourage them. We give them some priority, and in some, award programs, some, grant programs or foundation programs, we see some, encouragement, like priority will be given to woman scientists or something like that. So we should, I think, keep that. But we need, we don't, of course, we need a higher number of female scientists in our world, Islamic world at least, although the number is still very good. We still need to encourage the female scientists. But we also need to combine our capacity in the Islamic world, and considering either woman or man doesn't matter, but we need to develop more skills, and we need to put our power together. We just need to combine all this human power or brain power present in Islamic countries, because I believe that we have usually a very young population in many Islamic countries. This is a very good advantage for us, because when you look into Western world, the population is getting older. So Turkey and other Islamic countries actually have such good advantage for having a relatively younger population. It doesn't matter female or male. So we need to encourage all of them. We need to have a qualified research rather than doing ordinary research, because we need to have a Nobel Prize winning Muslim scientist, female or male, doesn't matter, as I said. So, but of course, yes, because I've been to Pakistan many times, maybe 13 or 14 times. It's
Wow.
like my second home, yes. So I really know of Pakistan, how it is going. I observe the universities when I contact or when I visit. So I'm amazed that there are a very good number, sometimes over the half of the student population is female, and female students are encouraged to go to university. I know the case in Pakistan, but I'm pretty sure that it is also similar in other countries, in Islamic countries. So we just but there is maybe one point, especially that we notice in Turkey. Yes, female students, they graduate, they go to higher education, they do master, PhD, and somehow at that point there is a gap. So most of them, they give up for some reason, maybe marriage, maybe child, maybe something else. Uh, when you look at the number of female professors, so it's going down, the number. So we also need to encourage the, for example, PhD level female scientists to push their careers, to the higher level, becoming associate professor or professor, and taking the decision-making positions like dean, vice chancellor, rector, we call. So anyway, I think at that point we need support, especially in Islamic countries. Otherwise, we don't have much problem.
The good news that you told us is the amazing fact that in Muslim countries there are more female scientists as compared to other part of the world, and that is a wonderful news. And just to come back to the kind of research that you are involved in, you are involved in natural medicine. And when we compare natural medicine to allopathic medicine, what is the difference? And how, I mean, a common perception is that allopathic medicines are more beneficial as compared to the natural medicine. The other one is that in emergency situations, when you need the cure right away, the natural medicines do not, I mean, it is better to use allopathic medicine as compared to the natural medicine. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, sure. Yes, that's true. Actually, I've been dealing with phytotherapy, which is, therapy with medicinal plants or medicinal plant extracts. So, uh, just talking about that, phytotherapy also has the same logic as allopathic medicine. There is no difference. I can say that. But as you pointed out to the fact, yes, we don't have a very urgent therapy. We cannot get very urgent answer from the natural medicines, at least as quick as the conventional medicines. That's true. But phytotherapeutics or herbal medicines, they are more for protective purposes. So to keep ourselves healthy, to protect ourselves from disease. Yes, they work very well, but to cure a cancer, for example, it takes so much time, and if we talk about a single molecule, as pure molecule, isolated from a plant, for example, Taxol or something, they work very well because if they are a pure single molecule, they can easily become a clinically available drug, and they are just considered as any other conventional drug. But when we talk about a standardized plant extract, so of course, treatment with this kind of extracts takes long time or longer time than the chemical type of medicines. So yes, we have this difference between these two. But as a logic, there is no difference. Like if you have a headache, yes, of course, you get an analgesic medicine. So it works this way because if you have a headache or migraine or something, you can also get a natural medicine or herbal medicine. But it takes time. Maybe you need to use it for like 2 months, then you get a physiological answer. But with chemical medicines, yes, of course, this period is quite shorter than any other herbal medicines. But still, we see such a trend that people, regardless of industrialized countries or developed countries or underdeveloped countries or developing countries, people desire to take natural medicines. So there's big demand and there is a big variety of products in this market. But of course, therapy is not as fast as the one with conventional medicines or drugs. Yeah, there is this difference.
So is it something that can be overcome, or this is an inherent issue with the natural medicine and there is no possibility for it to work quickly, as quick as that of allopathic medicine?
Uh, I think I don't see it as a problem to be overcome.
I
Why?
see.
Because this is the nature of these kind of medicines, herbal medicines. Because, like, let's take an example of a drug, an herbal drug, for example, St. John's wort. It is commonly used for the treatment of mild type of depression. So if it has a lot of compounds in the extracts. Sometimes we don't know how many major, we know about the major compounds, but most of the times we don't know about the minor constituents. So there is synergy or antagonism between these molecules. I don't know, I speak too technically, but to understand the mechanism of action for herbal medicines. So there is this kind of interactions between the compounds present in the extracts, just like in the example of St. John's wort extracts, as I said. This is, their nature. For example, when you get a tricyclic antidepressant, you get answer maybe in 15 days. But when you take St. John's wort, it will take 2 or 3 months. And if it is a very high level of depression patient, that it won't work. I mean, the St. John's wort extract won't work. So this is basically for, very mild level of depression. So we can use it for the treatment for a very serious cases. No, we don't recommend St. John's wort. So there is nothing that at the moment, at least, we can do to enhance or to make the physiological answer faster, because this is how it works.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Orhan, for explaining it to us. And that brings us to the second segment, which is we are going to deal more about your achievements and your scientific contributions. So Professor Dr. Orhan is an author and co-author of over 203 scientific papers. She has written 14 book chapters, 2 books, and she has one national patent. Dr. Orhan has received several science awards, including OWSD from the Organization for Women in Science for the Developing World. She has received an award from COMSTECH, L'Oreal, and Turkish Academy of Sciences. So, Professor Orhan, you have numerous scientific contributions, and we would like to know some of the challenges you have faced and how you have overcome them.
Um, yeah, this is a very nice question as well. I think any, scientist faces most of the problems that we face here. Of course, when you want to do a good science or good scientific research, of course, the principal problem that you face is the budget or money. Of course, we need money to, to cover our scientific expenses. So this is one challenge actually we have been facing a lot, just like the rest of the world probably, because I also hear this kind of challenge from my friends living in countries like Germany, like UK or France or US or Pakistan, anywhere. So I just can see that this is a common problem for the scientists. But if you if you write very good qualified scientific projects, you usually get the grant. But of course, still it is very competitive for any grant in any country. So this is one problem. But our university, just like the others, actually provide a financial support for our projects, but the budgets are not as high as sometimes we need. But anyway, this is one thing actually. Another challenge, I think, short of the time. I mean, we always. I have also administrative duty as a dean, so I'm also a member in some commissions, belonging to Ministry of Health or to our university at a higher level. So we spend a lot of time for this kind of job. That's why we need more time, especially in this age. I think time just flies. I sometimes say, yes, this is Monday, good. We have 1 week ahead, and then I just blink my eye, and then it is Friday. So I don't know how it goes between. I think many of people also have this challenge, but we have to, just adapt ourselves. And being a woman, of course, you are a wife, you are a mother, and when you go back home from the work, so nobody thinks that you are a professor, you are a scientist. You just, as a cultural thing, I think in many countries, in Turkey, Pakistan, wherever, they just expect you to cook, to clean, to make a tea. So in the evening, you have also these extra responsibilities, which I sometimes think that steals from my working time as a scientist. But we have to do that. This is also our responsibility. So I try to do that as well. Um, uh, I don't know how it goes over there, but we here in Turkey, as a scientist, one of the challenges that I also have, or many other scientists also have, we don't have enough number of research assistants or PhD students because, this is a teamwork. I cannot do that all by myself. So I need a large group to compete with the rest of the world to produce science. So this kind of thing. For example, I have a friend in Switzerland. He was the dean of Faculty of Pharmacy over there, and he told me that he has like 18 or 20 students in his research group, and I have only two. So my country expects me to compete with this guy. We need a higher number of qualified researchers who will take place in my team, so we don't get this kind of support very much. This is another challenge. So, it's hard to produce science, as I said, by myself, but I try to keep up. I never give up. I think this is one thing that and I don't believe that as a citizen of a developing country, maybe in Turkey, we don't have a luxury of complaining. We don't have this, we don't have that. Maybe even in Pakistan or other countries, scientists, because this doesn't bring us any you know um, solution. So we need we don't just need to complain. We stop complaining, I should say, and we try our best to do the best, whatever we have in our hand. Yes, that's why, of course, we collaborate with other research groups from different countries, and sometimes I also observe that the scientists from the countries sometimes we admire, they have the same problems, they face the same problems that we have sometimes here. So this is a collective work. Producing science is not an easy thing. So, as I said, I see a lot of academic people around me complaining a lot. Oh, we don't get fund. We don't have enough students to work together with, or the university doesn't pay for me this. Yes, they don't. But anyway, we have to do some things. That's why I get my salary from this country. So I cannot just, sit and wait someone to help me. So, we have to combat, we have to fight. If there is a fight, we have to do it for science, for ourselves, for our universities, for our countries.
Thank you, Professor Orhan. Now it brings me to a very important project that you have worked on, and during the current COVID-19 situation, you have developed a new model of golden pigment curcumin for designing new molecules against COVID-19. If you could tell us what this project is and explain it a little bit for us.
Yeah, but in the first place, I have to say that this is not a project. Actually, it was a review paper that I've written, but it shows us again the mystery of medicinal plants. So there are lots of mystery that we need to discover as soon as possible. So curcumin, as you said, it is, I believe at least, it is a miracle compound. It is a very simple compound considering its chemical structure, but it has amazing biological activities. So plant produces it. You use that plant as a spice in your country. Probably it is a native plant or in that area, at least as far as I know. So it is not grown in Turkey, but also our people like this plant as well as curcumin. So um, considering now we are having such a tough period dealing with COVID-19, and there is still no drug. Maybe there is one hope, according to recent news. But anyway, so nature has a lot of molecules waiting to be discovered. I think curcumin, it has been discovered anyway, but it has a very, very potent antiviral activity against series of different viruses. So why not? It would be, effective against SARS-CoV-2, the new coronavirus. That's why it was all about that. So taking curcumin as a very potent antiviral molecule, we can just mimic it, or we can modify the structure, or even we can use it against this new type of coronavirus. And why not a new and effective antiviral molecule coming from curcumin. So it was just an example. As a structural framework, we can just use it. It was a suggestion, actually. But I'm sure some people in the world, they're working on them, because this is not my, area of expertise. If I was a virologist or something, I would think about seriously working on it. But I know a lot of people are trying. So this is just one example, but there are lots of molecules coming from nature that we can just name.
Okay. Professor Orhan, we were wondering if you could tell us about some of the emerging trends in your field of interest, that is pharmacognosy and marine natural products.
Yes, sure. Pharmacognosy is one of the professional scientific disciplines in pharmacy education and in pharmaceutical sciences as well. So it is really impressive because as I said, there are lots of things to work on. For example, we have over 12,000 plant species growing in Turkey, and almost 30% of these plants are endemic, which means this 30% only grows in Turkey in the world, in no other place. So this kind of biorichness is quite important for country, also for the world, because these borders actually on Earth, just we make them. So Earth is a complete world. We just share it, just marking with the borders by human hand. So this plant actually doesn't belong to Turkey. It belongs to Earth. So anyway, this is our the richness of all world, considering Amazon forest. It is not only in Brazil, it is on Earth. So it's also our richness. So I think we should just look into these biosources with this eye, or with this point. So emerging, but anyway, considering our own flora or plant richness, and when I compare it with, for example, with Europe, Europe is a continent, right? So it has a lot of countries, and in whole Europe continent, there are 8 or 9,000 plant species in one continent. And neighboring this continent, in Turkey, we have over 12,000. That means a lot. But emerging trends in our area, yes, like I graduated from the faculty 27 years ago. So the curriculum that I went through that time is quite different, the curriculum of pharmacognosy now. So what happened in, let's say, 30 years? Many things change, and some facts have been conversed now. The emerging trends, yes, we used to do simple experiments when I start my academic career, and with those simple results, we used to have a very nice paper, I mean, in a very high quality journals. But now when you submit a very nice scientific quality paper to a high class of scientific journal, they still reject your paper and they ask more, put more experiments, put more results. So it is very competitive because there are more scientists, higher number of scientists working in the same area, and it's also a multidisciplinary topic, not only pharmacists, medical doctors, organic chemists, analytical chemists, biologists. Anybody can work on this field. But the emerging trend, I think, is phytotherapy, because 30 years ago, we didn't even, just spell this word or this term, but now it is very popular in all over the world, and the concept is getting better and better. I mean, in a scientific way. So, the equipment that we used 30 years ago used to be simple, but now there are very highly developed technological methods, hyphenated methods. We used to use, for example, high pressure liquid chromatography. We still use it. It is still very nice equipment anyway. But now it is like LC, MS, MS, MS, and connected to something else. It is like one line name of one tool. So that means we are now more qualified in discovering minor metabolites in plants as well. 30 years ago, it was very difficult to have minor metabolites, but now we can detect it. So there is new area called omics. It is very popular in all over the genomics, metabolomics, metabonomics, proteomics. So, there are like emerging trends in pharmacognosy as well. So I can say that, I mean, the technology develops and the scientific knowledge develops. They're just, parallel to each other.
So when you're talking about technology and how it has changed, most of this technology is coming from the Western developed countries, and how soon do they get available to our OIC scientists, like the ones just like yourself working in Turkey? So what is the lag in time when the technology is developed and then it reaches you? So what is the time lag there?
You know, how can I answer this question? Yeah, there is definitely we need more time actually to get those skills and those tools in our countries. Unfortunately, I don't know why, but we are not able to make those tools in our countries in a national way, what I say. For example, I've been working on enzymes, and whatever enzyme I need to, buy it from abroad. It doesn't produce in our country. Probably same situation in Pakistan. So very simple tools like or equipments like basic lab equipment, spectrophotometer. It is very simple, but nobody produces it in Turkey. We also have to buy it from Western countries. So that's why I really feel sorry about this. Why we cannot just produce such simple tools even? Okay, the new technological ones, they're very expensive. They need skills to produce whatever. But we should be able to do this. So what should be done in Islamic countries? I mean, coming together, I mean it, I mean, really coming together. Because when you look at the Islamic countries, the number is over 50. And as I mentioned, we have a very young, good number of young population or generation. So also, considering the financial part, many Islamic countries have, like oil, petrol, gas, natural gas, or something. So we have actually natural sources, which makes them rich in economic way. And we have also human power. We have young brains. We have power. So why just cannot we produce very good science? We can just support each other. For example, maybe Turkey is not the richest country considering the Islamic countries, maybe one of the poorest ones, but the rich one can support my research. I mean, I'm just talking about this kind of connection. So, of course, COMSTECH trying to do it, which I appreciate very much, or OIC, but this is not at the level that we want. This is not, yes, we work together, we collaborate together. Like I have a lot of collaboration with Pakistani scientists, but they're just at a personal level, you know, when I visit them or they visit us, we establish a personal relationship and then we try to collaborate. But it shouldn't be in more at institutional level. I think, for example, there's European Union funding the projects. In Turkey, we are able to apply at the consortiums in EU projects. We can get EU fund, but this is also limited. So such an organization should be established amongst Islamic countries. Put money or put your brain, put whatever you can do to support this organization, but it should be, you know, come true. It should be realized in a real way. So that's why we need to encourage our governments, our scientific organizations. Like we have Turkish Academy of Science, we have Turkish Scientific and Technological Council, which is very, very effective and good organizations. But I am sure you have, AGC in Pakistan and, Pakistani Academy of Sciences, and each country has this kind of institutions. So we should just put uh, our capabilities or capacities together in a real way. We need to support our young scientists without, expectation from Western countries. Because why should I go to European Union to ask money for my project? There should be kind of, for example, OIC union or something, and I should knock the door and I should, submit my project, and I should be able to do my project through this kind of grants. So I'm really talking about that. So in any platform I do, I'm sure many scientists also have the same idea. Probably they have expressed this idea somewhere, but we should be working for this kind of purpose. That means a lot, because when you compare the scientific papers produced by OIC countries, the number, some countries are doing fine, but still when you look at the quality of the papers or citations that those papers get, they are still below the Western or Western countries or US. So that means we need better quality papers, and it needs money, of course. And in COVID-19 period, we have just witnessed that science and technology mean a lot. Science and technology can save the world or human life. So that's why we need to put our all capacity, doesn't matter money or brain, but we should do it within OIC countries.
Thank you so much. And that brings us to the third segment. In fact, you have already dealt with a couple of issues that we had for the segment 3. And as you already have talked about OIC, and it has goals that include a wide variety of issues, ranging from peace and security to combating climate change, overcoming sustainable development challenges, alleviating poverty, and overcoming diseases and health problems. And our growing understanding is that health and well being are key components for bringing prosperity and reducing poverty and inequality. Health, education, employment, and female empowerment are all connected to a green, sustainable, and humane world. So, what are the applications of your scientific contributions in fulfilling these goals?
Wow. This is a very complicated question. So, in a humble way, I can just say that the impact of my research, actually, my personal research, yes, producing papers, good papers, of course, they are the nice goals that I would like to reach, definitely, or, I should keep in that way going myself. Uh, but what maybe we can't do or go further is to what do you convert our results into product. So we are lacking at that point. Not only me, but many researchers. There are very, very good results. We just, publish them. Maybe someone else in the other part of the world benefited and maybe make a product. But in that point, we are not, I don't know, we just stop there. So telling myself this, for example, I have 3 patents and applied another for 5 patents. So the silver medal or best academic invention medals that I got were about these patents, because we got some very effective compounds against melanoma or hyperpigmentation. So we patented that and we got those awards, and now it is a product sold in Turkey as a cosmetic product. So this was my dream. Yes, of course, it doesn't mean that every scientific data that you got worth to become a product, but at least we should try with the ones which can be available or become a product. So in that sense, our university, my university, has position of research universities in Turkey. 3 years ago, I think 3 years ago, in 2017, our higher education board made a classification, said that we have about 220 approximately universities in Turkey, regardless of foundation, private, public, anyway, in total. And some of them should be, the developed ones at least, should be named like research universities. They also doing their teaching duties, but they should come forward as a leading universities in research. So that's why, according to some criteria, they established or they picked up 11 or 12 universities in Turkey among all those over 200 universities. So my university became one of these research universities. And so what was the advantage of being research universities in Turkey? It was you got more budget from the government, you got more, you have a right to get more researchers, at your institution. That means more money, some kind of, the supports or advantages to support your research anyway. So this has been very, very effective in Turkey among those universities, of course, because every year we got score from higher education board, and some there are candidate universities, and they are now very eager to get this position as well. So this made a kind of competition between the Turkish universities. This system is now working very well. What I brought my word to this point is being a member of a research university in academic way. They ask you more and more. Okay, you publish 10 papers in a year. No, this is not enough. For an ordinary university, this is more than enough. But for us, this is not enough. It should be maybe 15, 13, 15, anyway. And also, we don't need your paper in Q4 category journals. We are not interested in that. Your paper should be published in Q1 or Q2 class, very high class of journals, because we get point as a university from those papers, something like that. You need to get more citation. Of course, this is not in our hand because someone else should cite us. But anyway, if you have a good quality of paper, then you get more citation. And of course, we have a lot of nice papers. We have good number of citations in total of the university. But what our disadvantage was in this process, we don't have enough number of patents. So we made a projection, in our research capacity. Okay, we need to increase our patent number or patent application number. Now there is like encouragement about these kind of achievements amongst the academics at our university. I try to keep up with these steps going on now at my university, which motivates me. So I try to make a product or products collaborating with some private companies interested in producing herbal medicines. They come to our faculty, they ask that we want to produce such a product, for example, immune stimulant or anti-inflammatory, whatever. So we come together, we make meetings, so I formulate, so they try to produce it and make it trademark product. So for example, I'm much more motivated about that, besides producing scientific papers or citations or awards, whatever. This is maybe my personal impact, but the problem that I see, especially in my country, in my university, not all academics have the same mentality. They don't have the same motivation, and you are not really awarded for um producing a very good number of papers in good journals, especially in public universities in Turkey. This is the problem, because you become a professor, and even if you don't publish a paper, a single paper in a year, nobody can hire you. I mean, fire you. Nobody. So the system should be changed in that way, in my opinion. And we need more motivation. There is more motivation since, maybe last 10, 15 years, the government really increased the share of R&D budget in universities. Now there are lots of grant programs for us to apply through different ministries or institutions. Yeah, I mean, situation is getting better, definitely, when you compare like 20 years ago, but we still need more motivation, more collaboration, and brilliant ideas, original ideas. And your dreams, you dream about something, maybe it won't never uh, you know um, be realized, but still working for it will bring you to uh, maybe lower level, but still very good level, because your dream is very high level, something like that. So I try to motivate myself, and whenever I publish a paper, I become very, very happy, not only myself but also for my country, because a, a paper with the address of a Turkish university means that Turkey get one citation and one paper and got one share in that kind of science. So I think we need to feel that way. We need to think that way. We need to motivate ourselves, especially amongst the scientists living in OIC countries.
The example you have quoted here and the policy change in Turkey to have research institute universities designated and given more research fund. Is this experiment or this practice replicated in any other OIC countries that you know of?
Nothing I know. Maybe there is, but I don't know such a competitive university ranking system is available to make the universities compete with each other at national level. I mean, I don't know. I know there are some examples in the West, in not in that way, but then it's similar, somehow similar ways, way. But not that I know in OIC countries. But that
It,
could be a very good model, I think, for the universities located in OIC countries as well.
it is very interesting model. It's a very good way to motivate the universities and the researchers and also help them, aid them a little. So that's a wonderful model. How do you suggest enhancing the collaboration and cooperation between OIC countries to work together on the same problems, the OIC goals that we have pointed out? How do we work together for it? Do you suggest some kind of OIC funds available to research scientists that they can tap those resources? You suggested that earlier too. So any other ideas that you have in your mind for increasing the cooperation?
Well, it should be something that I can suggest, a network. And in our age, it should be a digital network. But that should be, at the institutional level or inter-institutional level. So especially OIC or COMSTECH, maybe, I don't know who can do it, because, in the same subject, there are lots of scientists working. Sometimes I need to another part of my research, but I don't have maybe knowledge or lab equipment to do that part. And even in Turkey, sometimes we don't know who is working in which field. So we need to overlap, we need to find each other. So I was thinking, I also suggested to my rector or my university that we need to establish a digital platform. For example, all researchers or scientists should download their, research interest, maybe small background or something, and just like in other social media like Facebook or Instagram, whatever. So we should be able to find our each other, just through matching our keywords. Okay, I want to do, let's say, a kind of cell culture study with this molecule, but I don't have cell culture equipment or lab in my faculty, let's say, but there is another group doing that, but I have no idea who is this or where are they. Doesn't matter in Turkey or in other OIC countries. So I think this kind of digital database, or maybe I should say a kind of network, should be established as soon as possible. So we should be able to find each other very easily. I should just click and see, for example, 200 scientists from different OIC countries. So I should be able to contact them through this network. So I can just email or call, and we can start this kind of very strong collaborations. I think this is very important, and that could be also linked to industry. This is our lacking part as well. And industry from any OIC country should be also able to find this kind of knowledge or data. Okay, you found such a research, you have no capacity to develop this into product, but I have this facility, so I can do it. Just give me your results, let's collaborate, this kind of, or let's make a patent together, interdisciplinary or inter-countries, international, whatever. I think the scientific level will go up in such ways. And definitely, as I previously mentioned, the OIC should, establish a foundation or funding institution seriously to fund especially Muslim researchers or coming researchers living in Muslim researchers, I should say. This is very important, and it should be strictly followed. I just gave you 500,000 US dollar for your research project, and whatever you do, this is not the aim. You need to monitor what he is doing, what is producing, what is I mean, this kind of strict monetization, but the limits of this foundation or grants should be high, and I'm sure there is no problem with finding money amongst OIC countries. I should be able to collaborate a researcher from Saudi Arabia or from Malaysia or from Indonesia, from Pakistan. This is our common interest to elevate the level of science produced in OIC countries.
This brings us to another question, which is COVID-19. We are all suffering because of it, and it has halted a number of activities. The question is, do you see the trend of conflict increasing due to COVID-19 among OIC countries, or do you see more collaboration and cooperation among OIC countries during COVID-19?
You mean considering like treatment of COVID-19?
Not only COVID-19, overall, the kind of collaboration and cooperation that we need, do you see the emerging trend you find to be increasing collaboration or increasing conflict?
Well, I don't feel that, especially considering COVID-19, there is much collaboration. At least I don't see any. And I don't also think that there is much interest in developing any kind of, drug or vaccine against COVID-19. I'm sure, I mean, many OIC countries may be working on that, but we don't see any influence on in the world, including my own country. Like, we are about to import a Chinese vaccine soon. And then we will also, import some 1 or 2 million doses from Germany. Also, there are over 10 studies developing vaccine against COVID-19 among Turkish universities. There are different groups, and our Minister of Health says that our local vaccine will be ready, inshallah, by next April. Then we don't need to buy the vaccine from abroad. I hope, inshallah. But so I don't know what's going on in other OIC countries. There are countries producing some kind of vaccines, but it doesn't have any influence. For example, when you just read the news about vaccine studies regarding COVID-19, I haven't seen any, Muslim countries, brought the research to face studies, at least. I don't know why. Maybe there is, maybe I'm not aware of yet. I hope really any OIC country can do it, but it seems a little bit hopeless to me. I don't know why I'm pessimistic about that. There is potential, but in this term, during this special term or period, I don't think, this kind of collaboration or cooperation, as you said, is in a better level. No, I think my personal idea.
Okay, Professor Dr. Orhan, thank you. And before you leave, we would like to hear anything that I've missed out, anything that you want our audiences to know. Please feel free.
Oh, okay, thank you. Well, I should say that it was a very, very nice talk and chatting with you personally. And I'm really honored to be hosted by Imagine Institute of Future Studies. That was really kind of unforgettable moment for me. It was nice to have to give interview in this way. As a scientist, what can I say? As a last word, I think I underlined that science and technology something we need. We need to help out people We need to make our countries developed. This is really development. I mean, it is not like in the word, in a word. In a mentality, I think we need to think big. That's one thing, and motivate for big challenges, and working um, continuously. That doesn't mean come to university at 9 and leave the university or your workplace at 5:30. This is not the science. And I know, including Turkey, this is the mentality among scientists. So science is not have this kind of hours. You need to work, a lot, endlessly, and to elevate our capacity to become reputed countries in science, as OIC countries, or as Muslim peoples. We need to work a lot, a lot, a lot to become one of those best.
Thank you so much for your valuable time, Honorable Professor Dr. Ilkay Erdogan Orhan. Thank you for talking to us and thank you for your service to humanity. Appreciate.
Thank you very much. I thank you too.
Thank you for watching today, everyone. This was a wonderful episode, a wonderful talk that we have had with Professor Ilkay Erdogan Orhan, a scientist from Turkey, Ankara. She joined us and talked to us. And we will bring you another illustrious scientist from the OIC country in our next episode. Until then, thank you and be well.